Hmm. Hello there, how are you all doing? Great to see you. Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Ekmak. This is Final Fantasy Shadowbringers. Even though this is actually the Dawn Trail Hotel that we're staying in, we're going to get the last of the Shadowbringers quests set up here. So let's see. Duty, New Game Plus, Tank Quests, Shadowbringers. Granson, a bounty hunter by trade, has resolved to hunt Daikaiosin, one of the so-called cardinal virtues, exceptionally powerful sin eaters born from the fallen warriors of light. He is convinced this monster, once known in another life as the Knight Brandon, is the villain responsible for destroying all he held dear. But he will soon find out there is more to this tale of this former hero than meets the eye. Huh. What? Is it because I'm indoors? Do I need to teleport all the way to Shadowbringers? It was Norvant, Crystarian. But I'm not undertaking a leave, am I? Are they actually going to force me to remove all these leave quests? I mean, I still haven't gotten around to doing them, so I clearly don't care enough, but that's a weird restriction. Alright, thank you. And of course he's off in the corner looking badass, as Dark Knights tend to be. The tall dark stranger is regarding you with a mixture of curiosity and approval. Can't say I've chatted with you before. Think I'd remember if I had. Seen your fair share of fighting, have you? And wary besides. Rest assured of no secret designs. Name's Granson, bounty hunter by trade, mostly sin eaters. When I first laid eyes on you, I had a feeling you were a tough bastard. You must be the sort that gets mistaken for that warrior of darkness folks been talking about recently. That right? Easy, killer. I couldn't care less who you are or what you've done. The only thing I'm looking for these days is a like-minded partner. Someone willing to join me in the hunt for the biggest prize this side of Nordvin. I'd like to hear the details first. Yeah, thought that'd grab your attention. Dicaiosine's the fiend I'm after, one of the so-called cardinal virtues is what folks will want to call them. There were hopes that somehow the death of Vaughn and the Wardens might put an end to Dicaiosine, but alas no, seems the rules that bind other Sin Eaters don't apply to the virtues. Former warriors of light, the esteemed heroes who saved a realm a century ago. Dear old Brandon was one of them. Stop me if you've heard all this before. Anyway, like his comrades, Brandon died in the process, only to return relatively recently as a Sin Eater, the better to torment we few who survived their mercy. Needless to say, I aim to put an end to all that. You've heard the pitch, so what's the answer? You interested in hunting Dicaiosine with me? Not a whit of hesitation. I like you, sinner. Nevertheless, I'll need you to humor me and prove you that dab-hand I think you are, for my sake, as well as yours. I've heard two reports of stray eaters drifting close to the Crystarium. Come with me and put my mind at ease. So, reunite with Granson in Lakeland. He is actually right by the entrance, so we might as well use an Aetherite to jump there. There you are. Very good. The Sin Eaters we're after were sighted west of the Sensor Gate, so we'll need to head through there before we begin our search. Oh, and if you have any objections to killing Eaters for sport, remember that many were once innocent people. You'd be doing them a favor by putting them out of their misery. Did I meet your expectations? Good, clean work. This is clearly not your first time. Let's do this once more to confirm it wasn't a fluke though. Besides, the work will do with less Sin Eaters. Follow me, shouldn't be much further. Warrior is very satisfying as a tank. Yeah, that'll do. You're exactly the sort of man I've been looking for. Thank the gods for that. My apologies for subjecting you to such a silly test, but I'd rather not have an amateur's death on my conscience. Let's wander back to the wandering stairs and make this official, shall we? Apologies for the noise, but I do have my lunch right here and I do want to eat it. So, just to make sure you're still keen on our arrangement, Carlo, will you join with me and hunt the dread fiend Diocletian and put an end to his accursed existence? Excellent, then it is settled. Now, every hunt begins with an investigation, and ours is no exception. Diocletian can be rather difficult either to pin down. But before we commence ours, we should do well to attend to our respective preparations. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. Grandson is eager to take the road shaped by tragedy. All set to embark on a great hunt, Carlo? Then let's be about it. Before you ask, I've no intention of leading us out into the wilds without even an inkling of Diocletian's whereabouts. Norvand might not be a particularly large realm, even before the flood, but it'd take us a dozen lifetimes to scour every nook and cranny. So we begin by asking around a place I know for a fact Diocletian has been attacked before. The village of Wright on Calusia. While I don't have a reason to believe he'll return, I like to think that the survivors might know something of value. After all, we can be sure that they haven't forgotten the day the bastard came through. So let's be off then. Welcome to Wright. I reckon it might not seem like much to you, but to me, never mind. We'll save that conversation for after. Tracking down Diocletian is what matters right now. Let's split up, and after the bastard. Bet odds of turning up useful information that way, I'd wager. Question 2, residents of Wright. What do you want? What do you want with me? The Sin Eater? The one that came and killed everyone? Oh god, is he here? Why talking about him? Oh, I should have stayed inside. There's nothing but death out here now. Death and horror, and he doesn't... He definitely left an impression. Who am I missing? Ah, here we go. Where'd you come from? And what do you want with me? Dicasine? That thrice damned eater that's the spitting image of a Gulgent knight? That Dicasine? I can't help you. All I know is that when he came, he wicked white. If he had seen the carnage, he would... I'm sorry, I can't talk about this. For just a tank, he certainly left quite the horrible impression. Well, learn anything worth sharing? I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not. What we saw that day, what he did to us. There's no moving on from that. What's your connection to this village? Well, I was planning to tell you the whole story eventually, but I suppose now is as good a time as any. I was born and raised in the right. Lacking any real prospects, I eked out a living as a hunter. Might have tried my hand at something more exciting had I not been trying to provide for the love of my life, Melinda. It was about a year ago she accepted a commission from this Umoran trader. Bloke dealt mostly in antiques. He had this bracelet in need of restoration. Bloody old with such a questionable provenance, but supposedly it once belonged to royalty or some such. The Fangs of Orthus, he called it. Me and her had been talking about tying the proverbial knot, buying land, building a home, that sort of thing. Around here that might not take much, but it was still a lot more than we had, so when the trader made his offer, she didn't hesitate to say yes. I'd gone down to the shipyards to pick up extra tools and materials she needed for work. Quality stuff, but it'd pay for itself 10 times over. But when I got back to Wright... Dicasine had been busy. He spied at least a dozen newborn eaters fluttering about, trying to make sense of their lot. The grandmother who lived next door and shared the fruits of her orchard with us. The gruff woodsman who brought firewood to our doorstep in the dead of winter. Both of them reduced to mindless fiends just like that. There wasn't much time to mourn or think. I started looking for Melinda. There she was, alive and well. Our eyes met, and I knew it was going to be alright. We ran for each other, and... even now, a year later, it doesn't feel right. One moment she was there, right there in front of me, and the next she was. Dicasine knelt and took the Fangs of Orthus, then left, leading a host of sin eaters out of Wright. But Melinda, I still couldn't see her as anything else. She wouldn't budge. She just hovered there instead, waiting for me to end it. Well, I could never say no to her. Not once in the years we'd been together. For all the time she'd welcomed me home with a bowl of hot stew, all the time she laughed at my crude jokes and gave me counsel when I was losing my way. For all that and more, I killed her. I swore then and there I'd have my vengeance. Dicasine would die by my hand. I carved the scars in my flesh to mirror the ones he left on my soul. An enduring reminder of the vow I never dare stray from the path. There, all done. No need to wallow in it. Wouldn't I want my tragic yet trite tale to put you off on our hunt? Still with me to the end, sinner? That's the spirit. Still, have some unfinished business here, so if you could give me a moment before we resume, I would be most grateful. I wonder why across the different shards, everyone agrees Dark Knights need to have giant broadswords. Like, he was clearly wielding a broadsword back then, but I don't know, it's one of those funny little coincidences, I guess. Heck, if you rewind back to the beginning of it all, you can actually see, what's his name. Hang on, I can see this. If we go to Endwalker... No, not trusts, we need duty support. Emmett Selk uses a giant broadsword. Possible ban evader, monitoring. Okay, I think that's enough of a moment for Granson. Defined by loss, Granson would like nothing more than to leave right behind. Sorry to have kept you waiting, sinner. I'm sure you're eager to get back to it, as am I. Trouble is, in your absence, I've failed to turn up any information as to the whereabouts of Dicasine. There's one line of inquiry I've yet to pursue, though. The Fangs of Orthus. The bracelet my beloved was supposed to restore and that eater took with him when he left Right. Sin Eaters are mindless fiends, driven by only basest instinct. Everyone knows that. They've no need to worry for worldly possessions. Yet Dicasine took the bracelet anyway, which can only mean there's something unique about this particular antique, or the sinless bastard somehow different from the rest of his evil ilk. It just struck me that I didn't change the name of this stream. That probably should have been one of the things that I actually did alter. So give me a split second here. No, not that. It's got to be around here somewhere. Either way, I think we need to learn more about the Fangs of Orthus. I know just the man to ask, the Umoran trader who commissioned Melinda's services. Much as I'd like to question him myself, though, I don't think that's an option. Even though Dicasine's attack a year ago is common knowledge, I doubt the trader will believe Anita stole his precious trinket. He's more likely to accuse me of theft and have me clapped in irons. So I'm afraid you'll have to go in my stead, Carlo. Melinda said he was a regular at the Beehive. Try looking for him there first. I will have to change the title of it elsewhere though, because when you change the title of a stream mid-stream, apparently it doesn't change the way it's saved, but it should now say Tank. Well, you don't have a name at all, so I don't think we're ever going to hear from you again. And what do I owe to the pleasure that is your company? The Fangs of Orthus, you say? How very interesting. I should be glad to tell you everything I know. Under the assumption, should you recover it, you will see to its return to its rightful owner at once. I purchased the bracelet from a traveling peddler who claimed it was a relic of Vobert, to the glorious kingdom that fell with the flood, like so many others. He spoke true from what I could tell, and I intended to sell it to a collector here for a tidy profit, after having it properly restored by an artisan in right. Alas, she was one of the several casualties of a Sinite attack during which the Fangs of Orthus mysteriously vanished. I have of course been keeping in touch with several contacts on the off chance the thief might attempt to sell it. They have not, regrettably, but a piece of similar design did recently surface in Mord Souk, I am told. I was planning to dispatch an agent to investigate, but you seem more than capable of fulfilling that role. As for incentive, you may rest assured that any information aids me in the acquisition of the Fangs of Orthus or similar relics will be well rewarded. Yeah, no, we're never talking to you ever again, sorry. So, what did our industrious patron have to say? So he thinks it was stolen? Just as well. He'll probably not know where to head next if it wasn't for his distrusting nature. If this piece of a similar design is related to the Fangs of Orthus, it might attract Daikasin's attention, assuming it hasn't already. Let's go. So then, Mord Souk. You have to feel bad for Thancred. He can't use teleport spells, he has to walk absolutely everywhere. Fine weather we're having today in Mord Souk, isn't it? No such thing as a thing without value. That's the creed of these folk. We'll not find no shortage of verbatite trinkets here. Finding the right one, on the other hand, is the challenge. I say divide and conquer as before. Chances are most of these people have never seen an alpaca before.
Well met, well met. How may I be of service to you? Oh, a choker that once belonged to verbatite royalty, you say? If only I had such a remarkable treasure in my possession, but no, I do not. In fact, all my years here, have I never even heard of someone unearthing such a thing.
Yes, do you have business with me, traveller? Oh, the verbatite choker. Is that what all this fuss is about? Then you're in luck, for my husband has yet to sell it. Once we realized how valuable it was, though, he insisted on carrying it with him at all times. If you're not willing to wait for him to return, you could try to find him at the ruins he's scavenging for relics. They're not far. Actually, you look a bit like Emmett Selkra like this. What news, friend? Ah, to think it was that easy. You've the luck of the Fae. But we need to hurry. If my theory is correct, then so long as that scavenger has the choker, he's a target for Daikasin. I guess they expect you to walk all this distance. Mercy! Mercy! Take whatever you want, but please don't kill me. I have a family. Please, I beg you. Please. Please. It was on. Tank stance was on. Shame you missed the fun. This one bit off more than he could chew. Probably because I was a newborn. You can tell by the lingering vestiges of intelligence and self. You can see it in their eyes. Like when Daika seen... Don't tell me. You saw him. Wicked, white, and he took the choker too? Damn it. Damn it all. He can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it. It's just like right. It was too late to save him, just like it was too late to save her. Not again. Never again. I'll hunt you to the ends of the world, Daikasine. Vengeance will be mine. Ugh. Right, yeah. Neither the time nor the place. More eaters could be about. It's just, every time I cut one down, it reminds me of my first. Of her. Damnation awaits. It feels like it is going by relatively quickly, but this is what, the level 7? This is level 74, okay. It's fast, but dang if it isn't heavy content. We may have failed to stop him this time, but what matters is we'll both live to see another day. Pity the scavenger didn't. The wife doesn't yet know she's become a widow. Sod it, I'll tell her what happened. I've been there. Maybe it'll help me find the right words. Not that there ever are any. Afterwards I'll have a good think about our next step. Don't let me keep you from your other affairs, Carlo. We'll speak again soon. I think it was right here that we saw her. Looks like that wall. Granson has had his fill of Maud Sook, the princess and her knight. Hey there, Sinner. I broke the bad news to the widow of the scavenger while you were away. She took it about as well as you'd expect. After she'd cried herself hoarse, I started asking her about the choker and where her husband had got it. Seems him and his mates took a trip to Il Meg about a year or so back, hoping to cart off all the verberite treasures they could carry from an untouched ruin they've learned about. Of course, in their grade, they neglected to account for the Fey folk who killed or drove mad most of them. Those who did survive didn't come away empty-handed, though. In fact, they just stumbled upon a remarkable find: 3 sacred treasures of the royal family. They escaped with 2, the fangs of Orthus being one of them, which was sold by another scavenger to a Ulmoran. Either that merchant you met in the beehive or an agent of his, I'd wager. So the merchant gives it over to Melinda for restoration, after which Dicasine attacks right, presumably because he's after it as well. Meanwhile, the scavenger here in Maud Sook keeps the choker, the eyes of Orthus, locked away for safekeeping, and when he finally decides to sell it, the sinless bastard shows up again. Which brings us to the here and now. Damned if I know why, but at this point there's no denying that Dicasine's been hunting the royal relics. And so, assuming he hasn't claimed the third one already, the claws of Orthus, and I should say we should get our hands on it first and use it to lure him out of hiding. But to that end, we'll have to venture out into the fairy kingdom ourselves. Those scavengers didn't receive the warmest welcome, we're not likely to be treated any better. Funny you should say that. I happen to know the king. I'm quite good friends with the king of the Fae. I was away with the Fae for a time. Why does that not surprise me? Well, if you and the Fae have an understanding, perhaps we can traverse their lands without worry. That settles it then. We'll head to Il Meg and ask them after this Vobertite ring. So there's one interesting difference with this role quest compared with all the other Shadowbringers. Did you pick up on it? All the other cardinal virtues have some sort of extreme danger tied to them. You had, hang on. So it wasn't possible to kill any of the Sin Eaters that were being looked after by the healer target, because she could just bring them back and you had to come up with a way to negate her healing. For the DPS quest, she was actually an extremely talented hunter and we had to come up with noisemaker arrows to come up with a way to beat her. And then you had the black holes, and you had to come up with a way to negate the black holes from just killing you outright. But we aren't getting any of that with this target. It's more the problem is we can't get him to stay around long enough for us to actually fight him. And he strikes so infrequently. What a remarkably uneventful trip. I keep jumping at shadows, waiting for eaters of foul demons or worse to attack. Though that might be preferable to the Fae, frankly. Still, we're gonna have to deal with them eventually if we're gonna find this ring. After all, the Numu were part of Vobertite society. Without their help, I don't even know where to begin our search. Perhaps there's a village of some sort you can guide us to? There's Pliny. Pliny, eh? Very well. Lead on, sinner. He says lead on, but he's already there, isn't he? But he doesn't seem to have any sort of super move that prevents us from fighting him until level 80.
All the others had some sort of mechanic that we had to some sort of trick that we had to negate, some sort of superpower, but we just don't have that with Dicasine. Something about your demeanor bespeaks a question unasked. Have I the right of it? A ring that belonged to the royal family of Robert. It was called the Claws of Orthus. But Robert is long gone, as are the caretakers of the ring you seek. Who can say where it might have got to? Oh, hello there. You have questions for me. The Claws of Orthus, it is a ring, you say? The name I have heard before, but I know nothing save that. Oh, Sul-Ul served the royal family before the flood. Somewhat temperamental they are, but surely they will have knowledge of this treasure you seek. Had yourself a conversation at 3? Learn anything interesting? So this Sul-Ul is the one we ought to speak with, eh? Former servant of the royal family, which would mean they've lived for well over a century. Bugger me. I do not know you, yet you seem to know me. Oh, great. It took us this long to get an echo flashback. The 5th was discovered yesterday, a young girl not yet of age, transformed into a misshapen beast like the others before her. As if we needed more proof of a pattern. At this rate, any citizen could be next. Tell me you at least learned something from this one. I studied her remains myself. 'Twas plain a powerful magic had been employed. Vestiges of the enchantment lingered long after. The culprit, I think, is not a man to be trifled with. That is all I can say for now, but you may rest assured I will ascertain their identity before long. On my honor, as court mage, I swear it. Until I do, however, I would employ you and your knights to dispatch any who turn or show signs, without hesitation. But these are our kith and kin. Should we not try to keep them alive until a way to reverse their transformation can be found? Your mercy would place countless others at risk. As Knight of Robert, did you not vow to serve all her people? Justice for the weakest among us, was it not? How many innocents will die before you would do what needs to be done? It pains me deeply, Brandon, but the safety of the royal family is paramount. I fear that to take anything less than the most drastic measures would be to invite death into this castle. Death is already here. Surely you must see that. I will not let it be whispered that Princess Soldia has turned a blind eye to her people's suffering. These crimes are a tragedy that weighs upon every Robertite's soul. Mine most of all, and that is why I will take charge of the investigation myself. My lady, be reasonable. You cannot put yourself in harm's way. You have a responsibility to your subjects. So I am to gamble with their lives instead? Let them shield me while I alone take shelter and look down on them from on high? Yes, exactly. You are their princess. You are Brandon, yes? The new recruit? A rather promising one from what the captain has told me. You will attend me personally.
My lady!
You heard me. I will not stand idly by when I have the power to make a difference. Together we will see justice done for all, as your vow and my princess demand.
Lady Soldier, I understand. Forgive my hesitation. My life and sword are yours to command.
I have great expectations for you. I trust you will not disappoint me. Right, there is no telling when our culprit will strike again, so we must begin our investigation at once. There are witnesses to be questioned, clues to be gathered. Come, come.
Now, Lady Soldier! Lady Soldier!
Ever the stubborn child. I wish you the best of luck, Brandon. You will need it and more.
Hey, are you alright?
The way you are holding your head as if racked by a terrible pain. What happened to you just now?
We never did get around to telling Brandon about the echo, did we?
Lady Soldier? You saw her with your mind's eye? Then it is as I suspected. You have the gift too. You are like Brandon.
What do you mean he's like Brandon?
Why have you come to me? What is it that you seek? I see. And as for this hunt of yours, you have come to ill-meg of the claws of Orthus. I am afraid this is no simple matter. First, I would know that you are capable of facing the eater you seek. There is a spot in a river not far from here in which I used to bathe until a number of beasts grew equally fond of it. If you are the warrior you claim to be, they should pose no challenge whatsoever. As for you, I have questions.
Did he say how many beasts we had to fight? Apparently not very many.
Beasts are no more then? Good. I hadn't the heart to do it, for they were no ordinary beasts, but old friends who had survived the flood, victims of the curse you heard us speak of in your vision.
So this curse transforms people into monsters? Like how sin eaters can spawn more of their kind?
I will speak no more of this or other matters until you have completed the task I set before you. This is not negotiable, grandson. Carlo accepted my terms, so must you. So secretive, both of you. Can't we all just speak in plain? Your comrade refuses to acknowledge his situation. This may take time, but I am patient. Indeed, I have dealt with many a stubborn child in my life. You've returned. You made me go and bother a bunch of strange mushrooms, so hopefully we can get some answers. Sol Ul seems rather more pleased to entertain you than grandson. Exemplary timing, Carlo. 'Twas not a moment ago that grandson returned, having at last obliged my humble request. Humble request, my ass. This one's no better than your more aristocrat, so accustomed to making others do their bidding. I tell you, there's something off-putting about taking orders from a dog. Ere you continue and give me cause to reconsider your aiding your hunt, perhaps you should ask your questions. Fine. Carlo said he saw a vision of you and Brandon looking thick as thieves. You were friends, eh? Know what he's up to now? Brandon is dead. He died a century ago, together with his comrades in an attempt to float the flood that they themselves set in motion. I presume you speak of the eater that took possession of his corpse. Dicasine, aye. But unlike most eaters, he's been doing more than roam about aimlessly. For some reason, he's been hunting down royal treasures of the old Vober. And he's been killing any who got in his way. Is he now? What irony. Even in death he remains a slave to duty, a knight brave and true. He's a murderer, and I'll not hear it said otherwise. He ruined my life, killed my beloved right there before my eyes. Every night I go to bed dreaming of the day I'll take my revenge. Oh, I see. Truly you have suffered a terrible loss. But while your thirst for vengeance is quite natural and understandable, it is ultimately misguided. Unusual behavior notwithstanding, Dicasine is nevertheless no more than an eater. To hate him is to hate the sea that claims the ship, the disease that steals the child, the tremor that topples the home, the mindless force of nature that begets destruction, driven by a fragmented memory. Don't you dare make excuses for him! You think I wanted any of this? I grew up on a farm, I could barely wield a sword, and now I've got to kill one of the bloody cardinal virtues. Hate and anger and vengeance are all I've got now. My every waking moment is dedicated to plotting his death. It has to be! It has to be! So just tell us where the God's damned ring is and we'll be on our way. This is how it has to be? Who you have to be? Nay, I think not. You ask too much, demand far, far too much. And in exchange for what? This I cannot abide. The thing is about these guys is that they're very particular about equal exchange. What they love to give people things, but they also want it to be an equal exchange. You give something, they give something of equal worth back. No more, no less. Are you trying to barter with me, you little shite? Tell me what I want to know or I'll beat it out of you. Back off, Carlo. I won't let anyone or anything stand between me and Melinda's murderer. Brandon was a dear friend. To know that an eater disgraces his flesh and his memory pains me more than I can well express. It would bring me great comfort if you were to grant him peace. I would like to share with you a story, if you would be so kind as to join me in Lygia. This better have a point. Usually you get the roleplay instance from fighting from the level 6... What is it? 70... Right, this is 78, but we've been getting the combat ones at 76, so there's another little pattern breaker for you. Why are we here again? Commence battle for the hardened heart. Normal, very easy, easy. Obviously we're picking normal. Tis beautiful, even now. A palace of forgotten dreams. But before it was Laegia, in the time of Vobert, it was Grunslicht. The memory of mine in which you walked was of troubled time, when the people of our kingdom were preyed upon by an ambitious fool. Brandon, then a young knight who has only just won his spurs, had caught the eye of Princess Soldier, who chose him as her personal guardian. However, he was far too inexperienced and was unable to keep her safe when she ventured outside these walls on one of her investigations. For his failure, he was stripped of his knighthood, and shortly thereafter, he quit Vobert. I thought I would never see him again. But then one day he returned, one of several wandering adventurers led by a man named Ardbert, who had accepted our invitation to look into the mysterious transformations, which had continued unabated in Brandon's absence. Lady Soldier was overjoyed, and for a time it was like nothing had changed. They spoke often and grew even closer. And then came the day when we learned the truth. When we learned that the architect of our kingdom's suffering was none other than the court mage Tadric. It's him, Brandon. I'm sorry. So am I. Come, let's have done with it. It was you, Tadric, don't deny it. Tormenting our people, twisting them and transforming them into monsters. And for what? Brandon. And after I took such pains to be rid of you. You may strip me of my titles, but not my oaths. I shall serve said Lady Soldier till my dying breath. As you like. Once I've killed you and your friends, there will be no one to stop me from claiming the throne. Hear me, my children, the hour of reckoning is at hand. Rejoice, for a noble sacrifice shall you find everlasting glory. Lord Tadric, it hurts. Soon you shall know no more pain. We see this guy for maybe one cutscene, and then later on, oh wait, he's actually the arch villain. Don't go leering at the dwarves. I was going to make it quick, for old time's sake, but now I think I ought to take my time. So yeah, he's being protected. Fight or flight, the AoE combo, the single target combo, clemency, and interject. For all your crimes and more, you shall pay! The direct approach isn't working! Your feeble tricks are no match for my magics. He's drawing upon the 8th of his tools. Kill them! Oh, bastards. That's what you get for trusting a cork mage. Give the word! Brandon, bring them all in close! So yeah, these arcs really feel like they're designed to teach you how to play your classes. Greater Eclipse combo, Sun Shadow and Greatest Eclipse. Such an incredible display of strength, stack of legends! Swashbuckler combo, Fast Blade, Rightful Sword, Swashbuckler. While I still have so many lives at my disposal, I think not. Not like this wasn't a deal! Come, children, and death, your meaningless lives shall serve purpose. Go to Albert! Now, burn bright for me, and die, die, die! How many more must die for your vanity? Brandon, don't let him cast that spell, do whatever it takes! You are most tenacious. But everyone has their limits. Attack's too much for one person to take in. We have to stand together. Understood. Your end is nigh. No sacrifice is too great to claim what is mine. My right. Let me die, man. Rise, my children, and serve me. Tadric. Yeah, even Ardbert is frustrated with this guy, and he's not his art villain. Surely no one can survive such massive slaughter. Such obedient children to offer up their lives in sacrifice. Unrepentant to the last man, this madness dies with you. Glad that's over. Haha! What is life but a medium for my magics? Forgive me, lady soldier. How much longer can you hold the line, I wonder? Bring him here! The bastard's keen to drag this out. We can't keep this up forever! Everyone, now's our chance to turn the tide. I've still got a few arrows left in the quiver. And hope to refrain from drastic measures. Brandon, bring them all into the center. This one does actually kind of feel like a final boss for the entire chest of all of the role quests. I am glad that I saved this one for last. See that, Tadric? You're next. Time to thin the herd, starting with the dwarf, perhaps? Don't touch her, you bastard! Oh, Tadric, have mercy! Brandon, you have to defend Lamet at all costs. us to end, Tadra. Thank you both. I'm tired of these theatrics. Let us end this farce here and now. All hail Lord Tadric. This castle will be your tomb. Sanctified Quake 3. He's channeling a vast quantity of ether. Whatever he's preparing, we can't let him do it. You heard Limit, we have to stop him. Don't ask for mercy, Tadric. You won't get it. I think that those were actually attacks I was supposed to get behind. Sanctified Quake 3, yeah. Duty complete. Meddlesome wretch! The kingdom is by rights mine. Brandon, what's the meaning of this? Tadric, you... But why? After serving us faithfully for so many years. I am no servant. No servant! Not of your mother or father, of you. My lady! Gods damn you! He couldn't even stay alive long enough for us to kill him. Lady Soldier, speak to me! Brandon, my dear brave Brandon, am I your princess still? Would you honor your vows even now? Now and ever after, my lady, my sword is yours to command. That is well. Would that I had the strength to wield it myself. Steel your heart, brave Brandon, and for the good of her Vorbert and her people. No, I cannot, I will not. Honor your vows to your kingdom, to your princess. To your friend who never doubted you, who knew you would return and see justice. Justice.
it should be me. Brandon, my sword, now and ever after. You're late. We've rounded up the rest of Tadrick's co-conspirators and tossed them in the jail. The ones who hadn't been corrupted by his magics, that is. I'll not hesitate again, no matter the cost, no matter the sacrifice. Well, you saw what happened. So this clever clogs actually manipulated the echo to show exactly the moment he wanted to or something? Wicked, why? She begged him to do it, like Melinda. Come, let us quit this place and return to Plaini. Honestly, I wouldn't mind an expansion to the adventures that Ardbert and his friends got up to, because they sound like they would be interesting. Alright, that's over an hour that we've been streaming for, but we've still got time. Let's hit up Plaini. Do you know why I entered into the royal family service many long years ago? Because when I was attacked by a wild beast which nearly tore me to shreds, it was Lady Soldia who came to my rescue. She saved me, and that is a debt that can never be repaid, for there is naught in this world that holds greater value than life itself. Not even her death absolves me of it, and so must I always consider her wishes, her desires, what she would want for me and her kingdom, for Brandon, and yes, even for you, grandson. For me, to define oneself in opposition to the other, an other bereft of complexity, of nuance, wholly devoid of redeeming qualities, a villain. Indeed, there is a comfort in certainty and hatred, but it is a false and fleeting comfort. Bought with lies we tell ourselves about who we are, about what we must be, about what we must do. And never you mind the cost. If anything, the more we offer up in sacrifice, the better.
Do you not see? Brandon was right to hesitate, to doubt. The unwavering blade cares not whom it serves nor who it cuts. I think I need a moment. Perhaps you do as well. Leave us for now, Carlo.
To have loved and lost. Sol Ul is eager to what Granson has to say. Granson, I have given you ample time to consider the path that has brought you here, and where it invariably leads all who walk it. I didn't know what to do after I lost Melinda, how to mourn her or how to live. I felt that if I put it all on Dicasine, put everything into the hunt, at least I wouldn't have to think about myself or what comes next. I wanted to hollow myself out and fill up that hole with hate, forget who I was. An irony of ironies, that's just what the poor bastard tried to do to himself a century ago, isn't it? Hard man, making hard choices. What rot. Hold on to Melinda and the memories you shared. Let that love guide you. You're right. And I don't need the hate. Never did. I'll finish it for Melinda. And for Brandon. And then I'll move on. Move on, you say? I can't live off hate. Should have made this far, frankly. The more I try to reach for it, the more I find sorrow, pity. Curse not fate, but mourn her victims. Remember the dead as they lived. Aye, something like that. Reckon Carlo would agree. And Melinda, if she were here, would probably slap me a dozen times and call me a bloody fool for acting the way I have. Well, maybe you've been thinking about doing that in her stead, eh? Apologies for treating you with such disrespect before, Sol Ul. I'd like to claim I finally understand what you've been trying to tell me all this time, but I'm still getting my head around it. Recognizing your faults is the first and foremost step. I will tell you what I know of the claws of Orthus. The ring, together with the bracelet and the choker, were 3 relics passed down through the royal family over generations, signifying the owner's right to rule. Princess Soldier was the last of her line. After her death, they were stored in a sanctuary for safekeeping. However, a year ago, a band of thieves learned of its existence. They thought of themselves more as salvagers. The ones who stole the fangs and eyes of Orthus? Yes, the relics were concealed with magic wards. I can only presume that once they were spirited away, Dicasine was then able to sense their presence. Even in death, the slave to duty, you said? You think he pursued the thieves out of an instinct of loyalty to his princess? That, I do. After all, he was content to leave them be so long as they remained hidden. Only 2 of the 3 were taken? Then the 3rd is still... Claim the claws of Orthus, and he will surely come for you, yes. Tim Gias is where you must go. Once you arrive at the place I marked on your map, cast this powder into the air. The glamour will fade, you will see the chest with the ring. The rest is up to you. Thank you, Sol Ul. I promise we will bring your friend peace. With me, sinner. And may you find peace as well, child. Alright, 1 hour 21 minutes is what the indicator on OBS says. So I'm just going to double check here, but we had a boss fight in Kalusia, that was the healer one. We had one in Arang, that was the caster. Raktika Greatwood was the physical DPS. And Ilmeg is this one right now. It feels like every area had a boss fight except for the Tempest and Lakeland. That's kind of interesting to me. Every corner of Nordvent, you know? This should be the place. You got the powder on you, right? Mushroom powder. A small satchel containing a fine powder comprised mainly of ground mushrooms and enchanted with Numu magics. Useful for dispelling all manner of illusions save the ones under which we choose to labor. Mushroom powder, this is the thing that he asked you to go fetch for him. It was useful after all, it wasn't filler at all. Commence battle for to have loved and lost. You toss the powder into the air, and as it slowly settles to earth as twinkling motes of light, a coffer begins to take shape. This must be the claws of Orthus. All that's left is to decide when and where we want to confront the Eater. I think here and now would be our best chance. Or we could deal it with it here and now. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Hey there, old man. I don't know you, and you don't know me. But I know your story. I know this isn't you. And I know that if Lady Soldier was here, she'd say the same thing. It'll all be over soon. I promise you. I love Carlo's glamour. I got it all the way back in Heavensward, and I've never changed it at all. Inferno Battle Axe plus the Maiden Fending kit. Come, let's put this poor bastard out of his misery. Did he do that? Well, that's hardly fair. Hold on, sinner. This is surprisingly complicated. Still with me?
spirits without. Might makes right. Something don't smell right. Stand back! Uh-oh. Yeah, that one I messed up with because they put mechanics on top of each other. Tough old bastard, ain't he? I'm gonna slouch myself. Sanctified hold. Brand of sin. Oh, come on, not again! Looks like it's my turn. Count on you, sinner. Wicked wide I fell that one. Thanks! Okay, I think I need to give you this. I have lots of self-healing. He doesn't. Also, he keeps spamming the deadly stuff. He's messed up my combo. Ugh. Damn, Eda, let him go! He's not your bloody puppet. Yeah, finally. You watching, Melinda? Now, and ever after, my lady soldier, my sword is yours to command. Brandon? He's still in there? I will not hesitate again, no matter the cost, no matter the sacrifice. Wait, is he trapped in the memory still? You're wrong, Brandon. That's not what she would want. Let go of your anger. Let go of her. But that would make me lesser in your eyes, wouldn't it? To shoulder a burden that need not be mine.
No, I will not forsake compassion and love. I will not dishonor your memory. Oh, my lady soldier. Oh boy, I have thoughts about this because this is also the sort of thing that happens in a certain Dawn Trail quest line. Anyhow, he's gone. And with that, the three treasures of the royal family are reunited. Now I've just got to find a place to stick them so no scavenger ever stumbles upon them again. Least we can do for the princess and her knight, am I right? Like we're going back to that industrious trader with these. Maybe Sulol will have some ideas. Let's head back to play Annie. Are you going to make me walk? You're going to make me walk. Joke's on you, I have a car! I don't have to walk! It is done. Brandon has been laid to rest. You saw us when we arrived. Do you really have to ask? No, I suppose not. Oh, my dear friend. I pray you have found peace. And what of you, grandson? Has the turmoil in your heart subsided at last? I suppose so, though. To be honest, it felt like I made my peace with him even before we fought. Because you finally saw him for what he was, and accepted that truth into your heart. The battle was but an afterthought. Easy for you to say, you didn't have to cross blades with the bloke. By the way, I brought you some gifts. The 3 royal relics of Bobert. Then Brandon was safeguarding both the bracelet and the choker. And now it's your turn to look after the whole lot. That's what Lady Soldier and her knight would have wanted, I reckon. Yes, of course, that their souls may sleep soundly forevermore, we shall enshrine these relics for all eternity. Now that that's settled, I suppose we should be on our way. There's a detour I'll have to take, but afterwards I'd like to speak with you back at the usual spot in the Crystarium. Be well, Sulol. I think that one has a bright life ahead of him. Few can find the strength to overcome such terrible tragedy. But he did. As have you on no few occasions, I am sure. It has been a pleasure, Carlo. Do visit me again should you ever yearn to hear an old fool prattle on and on. Fun fact, if you do the tank quest line, it does actually change one of the main scenario stories ever so slightly, where you can refer to the plague that Brandon and crew were responsible for stopping. I don't know whether I'd be able to find that specific quest as quickly as I'd like though, so I probably won't bring that up.
Well met, sinner. Glad to see you made it back safe and sound. Having returned to where it all began, I can't help but think back to when I first came here, thinking only of Daikasine and my revenge. I was so wrapped up in my own personal affairs I didn't realize I was only pushing others away. Glynod was the only one who saw through the facade. His perceptive one eye took one look at me when I got back and broke into a smile. But enough about him. I've yet to thank you properly, Carlo. I owe you so much for sticking with me to the end. So what's next for you, sinner? Good question. Can't say I feel at home here or in the right or anywhere else, so I might spend some time on the road. I may not be as skilled a fighter as you, but I reckon I'm better than most. And there's always someone in need of a reliable sword hand. Melinda would want me to use my talents for a noble purpose. Helping folks in need fits the bill. Hells, isn't that what Brandon and his comrades wound up doing in the end? So, let's not call it a goodbye. Let's just say, until the next hunt. Wherever you go, may you find shade, sinner. To have loved and lost. What? Okay, that's better. So then, Glynod over there has our wrap-up quest. You're telling me that was an odd glitch. But before we do, I want to cover what Brandon had to say. So let's just check into an inn briefly. I don't want to forget what voice I gave him after all. It would be post Shadowbringers, old friend, light, which was it? Echoes of a Fallen Star, I think. Yeah, oh, it's this one. We need to hear what Brandon has to say. Master Vin, it's Glynod from the Wandering Stairs. I apologize for calling so late. A friend of yours was asking after you. You may remember them from their business with the cardinal virtues. Grandson. Well met, sinner.
I was looking forward to a welcome respite here in the Crystarium, but the mood's not here is not exactly conducive to relaxation, as I'm sure you've noticed. I'd wager you know more about what's going on here than anyone else in this city. Care to share? Can't say I envy you, your prey. Dark work, this twisting of the Warrior of Light's legacy. Reminds me a bit of what became of old Dicasine, though this Asian of yours is a fair bit more chatty. I'm tempted to silence him myself. Brandon made his mistakes, I'm sure they all did, but the past is the past. They've earned the rest. I'm not about to let him sully Ardbert's good name. What, you want me to leave it to you? Right. I'm not the one carrying all that weight. Very well, but only because you asked. Remember, if you ever need me, just say the word, I'll be there. So with that out of the way, we have our finale to this arc. Yes, I have seen it before, but I think it is still worth adding to this. So then, Glynard. Hello. Shadow walk with me. Glynard is overjoyed to welcome the conquering hero's return. Well, if it isn't the great hunter himself. As if you don't know, all four of the cardinal virtues laid low, all with your help. You're the talk of the stairs, Carlo. When the night returned to Lakeland, we knew in our hearts that change was on the horizon, but never did I dare hope that you might rid us of all those terrible fiends. You've surpassed my wildest expectations. Not mine, Glynard. When I first laid eyes on him, I had an inkling that he was the hero that we had been waiting to come along. Easy to claim after the fact. If you would indulge me, though, I would love to hear you tell how it all played out. The hunting of the virtues, that is. And now, we go for an 8-hour stream as Carlo painstakingly recounts every battle. My word, there's so much more to it than I realized. And there I thought you'd only had to track down the bloody things. Gods, though, the things you learned about the Warriors of Light. So many secrets and details lost over time. And for all their hard work and sacrifice, they somehow brought about the flood? Can't say I understand it all, but it's a bloody tragedy it is. We should gather the others and toast their memories, heroes of old, brave and true, to be remembered forevermore. Now, I'll thank you not to let your bleeding heart drive you to opera a fortnight's stock of spirits. Attend to your other customers and let me speak with the hero of here and now. Whatever would I do without you and your good sense and wisdom? Very well, I leave you to entertain him, but don't think we won't be having that drink someday. Carlo, I must thank you for sharing with us such incredible tales. 'Tis only right I repay you in kind. With the ending, that is, with a story of the true villain who towers above the virtues, the devil more deserving of death than any that yet lingers in this world. If your curiosity has been piqued, meet with me atop the balcony overlooking the crystalline mean. I will be waiting there until you do. Speak with her near the crystalline mean. Okay, so Amaru launch. You came, as I knew you would. Never met a mystery you could relieve well enough alone, or a demon that you could let live, am I right? And this demon is undeniably deserving of death, make no mistake. To cut them down would be just and proper. The act of a goodly person, and that is just what you are, I can see that. No need to grow impatient or be offended, my friend. But before you pass judgment on this villain, you need to understand their part in everything. Who they were to the fallen warriors of light, for instance. Of course, right about now you must be wondering how I know what I know. What a tavern wench of all people has got to do with any of this? Let me tell you then, I am the one who brought together the virtue hunters. I am the one who marked you as a potential ally to them, and bade you join them in their quests. I alone knew what had to be done, and what sort of sinner would be needed to see this tale of tragedy and betrayal brought to an end. But come, we have many miles ahead of us still, to Clusia and the Codger's Crook. I will go on ahead and wait for you there. I hope she doesn't mind that I'm going by alpaca to all these locations. You are accustomed to life on the road, I see. As am I. Do you recognize this place? I thought you might. Here is where it began, where Ardbert first met Lamete. Still young and lacking in experience, but possessed of so much potential. Heroes in the making. Even then the keen-eyed could see. They would only fulfill that promise much later though, after joining with their other dear companions Brandon and Renda Ray. And one other, an elven woman, not half bad with a sword. Ah, but perhaps you are asking the question, who? There were 5 warriors of light in all, but she would make 6. Indeed, after adding in Nalbert, there does seem to be one too many. But believe me when I say that there was a 6th adventurer lost to history, and her name was Silva. Though I doubt I need to convince you of this truth. When you walked in the Virtue's memories, you saw her time and time again, did you not? Then you saw the true villain. the traitor responsible for all their woes. Let us continue this story elsewhere to Armor Ring and the Fields of Amber. Okay then, I don't know which one is Fields of Amber though. Heat waves, huh? Sorry about that. You saw the true villain's face in their memories, and I told you her name and Clusia. But what were her crimes, you ask? Hearken to my tale, and you will learn. Silva joined the others before they first met Nalbert. After their party of 5 came to this place, they took on a commission to slay a powerful beast that had taken up residence in the mines. Said beast was believed to be the instigator of ever more terrible tremors, and so time was of the essence. But during their hurried search, they crossed paths with their future companion, then a competitor aiming to usurp their prize. After another tremor triggered by the beast trapped them all underground, they had no choice but to work together to lay it low. But to their dismay, even after its death, the earth continued to shudder violently. As the adventurers looked to each other in confusion, Nalbert strode towards the beast's body and grabbed hold of a curious stone, a stone brimming with untold ether, that he had sought out that he might harness its potential to rescue a loved one lost to the rift. But so powerful was the stone that it warped the flow of the life stream. Its very existence was a threat, and so when faced with the choice between one life and countless others, Nalbert wept and shattered the stone. He held his comrade's salvation in his hand and cast it aside for the greater good. For his sacrifice, he was judged a hero, and in that instant, a warrior of light was born. In life, Nalbert was a pragmatic figure whose wisdom and sagacity were admired by all. Little wonder that in death he would retain his virtue. But as Nalbert mourned the friend he forever lost, the betrayer Silva looked on in silent contentment, for they had taken the first step on their path towards becoming heroes brave and true. His sacrifice had sparked the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. What ritual, you may wonder? Fear not, all will become clear in time. Come with me to Raktika, to the city of swamps. We must retrace the steps they were taken to understand the depth of her treachery. Raktika found. Oh, I picked the wrong portal. Now I've got to fly over the mountain. This place is familiar to you, no? From days recent and long since past. After the events in Armorang, Ardbert and his comrades grew in fame, spurring others to entreat their aid. The adventurers sought out greater and greater challenges, and in pursuit of another, they came to Raktika. While here, the hunter Renderay learned that the notorious mark Balaam Keats was near, and so, under cover of darkness, she slipped away from the others to slay the beast herself. Like Nalbert before, of course, you already know what her motive was. Balaam Keats robbed her of her fellow hunters. Only vengeance would redress the balance. Moreover, she would not dare risk the lives of her new comrades. So terrified was she of the mere possibility she might have to relive that terrible day. And so she faced Balaam Keats alone, and would have surely died for it, had Ardbert and the others not arrived in time to help. Like Nalbert before, of course, you already know what happened next. For her love, her conviction, and her resolve, was she chosen by Heidelin. And from that day forward, Renderay swore never again to betray her comrades' trust, to share with them the triumphs and tragedies, to relinquish the freedom she once held in the highest. The bravest, most courageous hunter that ever was. That moment would define what she became in life, and in death. Her sacrifice would hasten the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. The betrayer Silver looked on, yet more satisfied. They were oblivious to her machinations, unaware they were dancing to her tune. Their journeys continued, and so must ours, to Ilmelg and Lygia. Oh, I think I got the order wrong here. I maybe was supposed to do Brandon before I did the healer quest line. Oh well. We were just there this very stream. 2-hour mark, but let's keep going. We're obviously going to wrap this whole thing up. We don't really have time to stop and say hello to our old friend, our old pixie contractor, but it is fun to think of them making a nuisance of themselves in this castle. Just having fun, you know? As beautiful now as it was then. You saw it too, would you not agree? With the death of Balaam Keats, the legend of Ardbert and his companions grown larger than ever. Thus emboldened, they came to the kingdom of Vobert. Vobert had long been troubled what had been dubbed by some a magical plague. Innocents found transformed into misshapen fiends that the kingdom's knights had no choice but to put down ere the contagion spread. Brandon had been one such knight. In his youth he had served the princess Tessaldia faithfully, only to be cast out for a single mistake. Thus did he take to the road where he met Ardbert and the others. Having grown stronger and wiser and more respected, Brandon felt it was time to return and redeem himself, and with the aid of his comrades he did just that. Tadric, the court mage, was unmasked as the mastermind of Vobert's misery,
and by the disgraced knight's blade was he brought to justice. But with his dying breath, Tedric cursed the princess soldier, sentencing her to a fate worse than death. At her behest did he raise up his blade, and for the sake of his kingdom, strike down his liege lady. With that single stroke he stood forever changed, though not nearly in the way that was necessary. He stood at the precipice and almost forsook his compassion for unflinching judgment, but mercifully turned aside at the last. Thus did he find and embrace true justice, that which weighs law and heart together, and strives for the greater good. 'Tis a long, difficult road from which many stray, settling for simpler moralities, but I would expect no less of the man who became Dakaio'Seen. His sacrifice would strengthen the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. As her companions grew more powerful, so did the betrayer Silva. Bit by bit, they brought her closer to her goal. But it was not yet finished. To Clusia they returned, and so must we, Tomra, and the next chapter of our tale await. How were you able to get here without being pestered by the Fae? That's an important question to ask yourself. We want Clusia Tomra. And she chose to stand right next to the Aetheryte this time. Thank you. Actually, this is exactly where we left our dwarven friend and ran into them when planning our moves here. Slowly but surely, the adventurers were fulfilling their potential. Word of their deeds in Vobert spread like wildfire, and their legend grew ever larger. But for all their success, the fledgling heroes would be forced to endure more hardship and welcome more sacrifice. They pressed deeper into the depths of Rectica, towards ancient Ronka. 'Twas there the dwarf Lemite came to a crossroads, for in claiming the magic she desperately desired, she would be forced to renounce something equally precious. Dwarves are a reclusive lot, wont to withdraw from the outside world that their many traditions might be preserved in isolation. When the stone blight began to spread, they chose to lock away the afflicted and refused to seek outside help. But Lemite would not abide this. She vowed to save her ailing kin, her sister among them, even if it meant violating dwarven law. With her newfound power she returned and cured the sick, and for this she was banished by the Council of Elders. This came as no surprise, for she had made her peace with it long before, when she stood in that ancient ruin and called upon her forgotten guardians to grant her forbidden knowledge. She knew then what the price would be. She had weighed her traditions and identity against the lives of those she loved, and made her choice, though it pained her terribly, and in ways only a dwarf would understand. And Heidelin, it would seem. Through hardship and sacrifice was a new warrior of light forged, a healer that knew more than any the value of a life, and would see anything to see it preserved, even in death. Her sacrifice would soon nearly complete the transformation. 'Twas fuel for the ritual to come. Very soon then, very soon. For Ardbert and his comrades had stumbled upon evidence of the larger design, threads linking together the disparate troubles of the realm. A name spoken only in whispers, the Shadowkeeper, a singular force sowing chaos and discord throughout Norband to an unknown end. If the warriors of light truly wished to save their world, they would need to confront this villain among villains. And at the end of their exhaustive search, at the end of their struggle, who do you think they found waiting to welcome them with open arms? The answer to all that awaits us in Lakeland, our final destination. The villain yet walks among us, Carlo, unknown and unpunished. Go ahead and wait for me at Laxon Loft. There are preparations to which I must first attend. It has been so long since I've actually done this quest line again. It is actually a lot of effort to level up 4 different classes, let alone the 5 needed in the next expansions, because they decided to split up the physical and range DPS classes. She's not here. Darn it, I'm gonna have to wait another 5 hours. Damn you, Silver! We were comrades in arms! Friends! That we were, and that we are. Everything I said, everything I felt, it was all true. You mean the world to me. You're the bloody Shadowkeeper! What in the hells was this for? For you, for every one of you, to forge you into heroes worthy of her blessing, that she might choose you as her champions. A ruthless mage consumed by the pursuit of power to save his friend no matter the cost. By his sacrifice, a warrior born. A mournful hunter scarred by tragedy resolved to never again trust in others. By her sacrifice, a warrior born. A disgraced knight who yearned to steal his heart in justice's name. By his sacrifice, a warrior born. A troubled healer torn between tradition and love. By her sacrifice, a warrior born. And their leader, an adventurer with a heart overflowing with love for his dearest comrades, who must now bring his axe to bear against his own. By his sacrifice, a warrior born. I am the villain you seek, the keeper of shadows from a world shrouded in the dark. By our struggle, will this world be shattered and its souls saved. Silver! Sure, you put your sword away after triggering that flashback. saw it all, did you? I thought you might. Mother's gift has a knack for showing us exactly what we need to see, if not what we want to or when. They knew me as Silver, but my real name, it doesn't matter. Like you, I am not of this world. I crossed the rift and came to the first. My home, the 13th, fell to dark in a calamity that mirrored the one which nearly claimed this world. I was one of several heroes who who failed to save it.
So she's actually closely related to Zero.
The boy, Unul Kai. I have glimpsed him in your memories. He was a friend. Like him, I heeded the words of the Asians, and that I might redress the balance, I chose to come here and hasten the rejoining of worlds. A shard subsumed by dark demands a mirror of blinding light. Primordial forces will strive to achieve equilibrium, but there was a solution. A single solution, I believed. Were a flood of light to consume this shard in its entirety, it would be of no use. The Asians made it clear it must be brought to the brink, but no further. The task was difficult, but the plan simple. Souls predisposed to light, fledgling heroes in the making. I would bring together Ardbert and his comrades, and groom them for a high purpose. I would play the part of a comrade and guide their course, all while labouring in secret to pit stronger and stronger enemies against them, until finally, once they were warriors of light brave and true, I would reveal myself as a warrior of darkness, and extinguish their radiance forever. Thus would this world be primed for a rejoining, and the source for a calamity. The Asians who called themselves Metron and Logrief were confident it would succeed, and indeed Ardbert and the others rose to the occasion as I knew they would. It was not to be. I had misjudged Ardbert. His comrades before him had made their sacrifices in turn, and as their mirror, I had grown stronger for it. Had he but embraced his role and struck me down, victory would have been mine. But Ardbert, dear Ardbert, would not forsake his heart. In the end he chose mercy, he chose love, and I was undone. The rest, you know. He sought out Metron and Logrief, and granted them what he refused me. They accomplished everything they set out to achieve, and then the flood came and washed it away. In the wake of my betrayal, I would look on from the shadows and reflect on my many sins as all fell to ruin. Denied death, then and now, and perhaps ever after, as a fragment of my essence endures. But then, one day, years ago, my fallen comrades rose again as the cardinal virtues. It coincided with the arrival of the first scions, I later realized, a defense against the forces being marshaled to undo my failure. I can but assume the Asians planted the idea in Volthri's head. They were his creations, after all, and with their graves in the Ulmoran territory, it was doubtless a simple matter to have their bodies exhumed and prepared. Who am I to speak, you may think when I say this, but when I saw these abominations he had wrought in their image, I was filled with such despair, such anger. I cannot unwrite the past. My soul is stained with blackest sin. I will not pretend it can ever be otherwise. But this act, this I could not ignore. If the Asians were going to such lengths, surely others would cross the rift in time. And so I hatched a plan. I would assume the guise of Ciela, and as her take up residence in the Crystarium, where I would take measures to bring together the most ambitious of adventurers, individuals driven by more than mere coin, virtue hunters. That way, when the enemy the Asians had feared more than any came to the first stage, the stage would be set. They would join in the hunters' quests, and together unmake Volthri's simulacra and lay their souls to rest once more. And so you did, Carlo. The virtues are no more, but the one ultimately responsible for their creation, the devil who set them on their doomed path lingers still. You know all there is to know of the heroes who saved this world. The truth I kept hidden in the shadows is yours, and there are no more secrets to share. And so I ask you now to grant me that which Ardbert could not. Death. You still have a duty to others. No, don't do this! Don't spare me like he did! How can you stand there and say I deserve to live, knowing everything I did? The lives I destroyed, the chaos I wrought, the Warden's pale comparison. Surely there is no greater villain than the Shadowkeeper. Which is why you must live to atone for your deeds. I should have expected a hero would say something like that. How does one even seek atonement? It is an undiscovered country with no charts or stars to guide. How will I even know when I find it? Perhaps I may find yet purpose in preserving my comrades' legacy, in helping others to understand the sacrifices that made them true heroes. For now, I shall return to the Crystarium and continue to assist Glynard, while spreading the forgotten tales of the Warriors of Light. You would have been good friends, you and Ardbert, in another life. Maybe you and I as well. Okay, but consider an old-style Final Fantasy RPG featuring the Warriors of Life from the Warriors of Light from the first. I think that would be pretty cool. Oh no, I selected someone else's minion trying to click on the Aetherite. Darn it. I tell you, I'm not at all accustomed to wearing armor any longer. Simply moving about in it isn't enough to tax my strength. And fighting? Ugh. Any one of Captain Liner's recruits could probably put me flat on my back. Fortunately, I don't need to rely on my sword to spread the truth of my fallen comrades' deeds. Only words and the passage of time will see their legacy redeemed in the eyes of the people. Thank you for accompanying me on my journey of remembrance, Carlo. May your deeds ever be remembered and celebrated, as all heroes deserve. So, there are actually more steps to her quest line. We can get everyone back together, but I think I might have to save that for another stream because we're almost 2.5 hours through. But there is something we can end the episode on. And if we had enough time, I would have made that the battle against the Shadow Walker. Which is it? It's Shadowbringers. You can actually fight against the Shadow Walker in Eden's Promise Litany, because someone accesses the memories of the actual Ascians that were the Shadowbringer, and then you can go beat them up. Welcome back, Master Vin. Your quarters are just as you left them, and shall ever be available for you. Unfortunately, I just don't feel like we have the time for that, so Echoes of the Fallen Star. If you complete every Shadowbringer role quest, there's one more person you can talk to here. I really need to stop sleeping in that armor.
Master Finn, it's Glynid from the Wandering Stairs. I apologize for calling so late. A friend of yours was asking after you. You may remember them from that business with the cardinal virtues.
We can call on Ciela.
It's got to be so weird for him. Why is my favourite employee asking after Carlo after the nonsense that happened? Good evening. I think she's the only one that will open the shutter as she arrives, rather than all the others who wait, it's the Warrior of Light that opens the window after they've gone. I was in Exerta. I saw everything. That was Ardbert, and it was not. Twice now he has appeared calling the people to arms, speaking of heroes. I knew this day might come. Ardbert never did appear as a virtue. But to see his flesh stolen by the selfsame Ascian that made mock of their sacrifice. I spent years searching for a means to redeem their legacy. His legacy. And in you I found it. You slew the virtues, reclaimed the stars. You spoke the truth, and people listened. When I heard our patrons speak of how the Warriors of Light had been savers all along, I thought, at last, at long last. I was a fool. I cannot ask more of you, not after what you've given, but I must. Set him free, lay him to rest with the others in honor and triumph. There are follow-up quests involving Unalkai, but we just don't have time to do it. We've already gone for about half an hour longer than I'd prefer to stream for. I feel like this is a better note to end the stream on, not the episode. Next time, we're going to be starting up Dawn Trail. So until then, guys, take care. I'll see you all around. To be fair, a half an hour episode, half a hour stream longer is worth it if we are actually wrapped up with all this. Squeezing it into the tank quest line is worth it.